again. That was the neat trick, huh, kids? Did you do everything Momo said to do last time? I need another favor. The red stuff coming out. Remember that this is the easy and fun way. If you don't do it, Momo will come get you while you sleep.
Welcome back to another episode of Contemporary Comrades. We have Adam, Corn, Big J, and Clint. And without further ado, let's go ahead and commence.
And as our gracious guest, Clint, so graciously introduced us.
Gracious. Can't forget gracious.
We wanted to kind of troll you guys just to see how you feel about it. But without further ado, Clint, tell the people who you are, tell them a little bit about you, and tell them why, and you know how we're all connected, and then we'll get started. We'll get into the topics which we're going to bring up.
Yes, most certainly. So I've known this group here for many years, and they're all my brothers, and I'm thankful for them. I've served in the military, and I'm very fortunate to be here, and I'm looking forward to getting updated on some current issues with a different spin on it. So that's a little bit about myself.
Of course, bro. Happy to have you.
Thanks.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Clint's a long time homie of all of ours.
Absolutely, man. We're all best bros. He's from back home. Yeah. All here finally for a grand event.
A good old shindig.
Yeah.
Little dinshig.
Little dinshig. All right, so we got a few just random current event topics. We're gonna start it off first with one that Corn brought to the table. Go ahead and tell get us started off, man.
Hey, get the best one out of the way.
All right. Well, there's this object called Momo. It's some this video game series. I don't know what video game series it's from, but it's this object keeps showing up in YouTube Kids videos. So I didn't even know there was even like an app called YouTube Kids, but apparently there's an app called YouTube, and it's basically like kind of like how Netflix is doing with Netflix Kids, which is like just kids shows, kids episodes, highlights on kids shows and stuff like that, skits and stuff. Just harmless fun, I guess. And right smack dab in the middle of these videos, recently, when it passed 2 or 3 days, the object Momo has been popping up. But I mean, it's tons of things more frightening than just the image of Momo popping up in the middle of these videos.
Hold up a second. Some people might not know what Momo is. It's just this creepy girl, big eyes, big like goofy smile. It's meant to be scary. I find it more funny, but that's just me. Anyway.
But what about the perception to a kid though?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I can see. Yeah, I can see that for a kid. Yeah.
Absolutely. And what it's telling these kids is how they can commit suicide, how they can kill their parents, things such as slitting your wrist, and it's saying this stuff super fast. Which I think when stuff is brought to you really fast, it actually grabs more. You get more attention from someone during those ages between like 9 and 15.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, they said that real fast. Let me go back and see what they said.
Right.
Oh, okay. And you go through those stages where you want to fit in. And like we mentioned on our last podcast, is that with all this stuff happening, where people wanting to fit in, saying they're depressed, saying they're suicidal, saying they have all these mental issues just to fit in, just to feel like they're a part of something else, and so that they're not alone. This is really scary if you have kids.
I can see that.
It's fucking insane. I just saw this today. I saw this morning.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I think I saw it about a week ago. I guess about a week ago.
I thought you just now watched it a few minutes ago.
I just now watched that video. What I saw originally was that basically the same principle, but that it was a video of that popping up in the recommended on kids, and they were like, "Oh, what's that?" Clicking it, and then they're seeing that. Right. I didn't know it actually popped into in the middle of a video.
Yeah.
Okay.
of something completely different. Like I didn't know that, and then I saw that Instagram post that Corn sent to one of our private chats, and I was like, wow. I only think it's a problem if you don't. I only think it's a real problem if you don't raise your kids properly, because anything like that, I will hope to have instilled into my child to say, have them come show me, or say, "Mommy, what's this?" or "Daddy, what's this?" or something like that. But it could be one of those things where it's such a really good attention grabber that they might not even think to do that, no matter how they're, no matter what you kind of try and get your kids to do. I think it's also very detrimental, but also I think it's also very purposeful. Just with all the other things we have going on nowadays, at the end of the day, there's a lot of weird things in this world that, if I were to go into detail on why I think that this is on purpose, that would be it would need a whole nother podcast just for those reasons. But long story short,
very long story short. Yeah. I just this is just par for the course, in my opinion. I mean, this is what we do to children. Children are constantly, battered mentally by mainstream things such as YouTube, such as Disney, such as Nickelodeon. Like they don't really instill good things in children.
Bro, I would hate to be a kid growing up right now, man. Where the offended era is in full force, and you don't know what is even good and bad anymore. Like, and there's just like psychotic shit being passed around like candy. No pun intended. And that's wild, man. Like I'm really blessed we grew up in the '90s, where like we just there was everybody I know seemed to think that the '90s were awesome as well, and I agree. I mean, it's just like there was just not as much bad influence being poured into your face. Like the internet.
No, go ahead.
The internet was young enough that we were still doing dial-up stuff, and like just slow connections. It felt better. I mean, I kind of miss that.
Did we really grow up in the '90s per se? Didn't we like kind of grow up in like early 2000s, like millennials?
We are, we're like what first?
More or less. I mean, our formative years were '90s, I'd say.
Yeah,
we had a glimpse of it.
Yeah, I mean,
we were little kids in the '90s. Yeah, we watched.
When are you most vulnerable as a child? Isn't it like from the time you're born until you're like 12 or something? That's when like the majority of your habits you'll get. So I mean, most of that was spent in the '90s for us.
Right, and you're very impressionable too.
Yeah, you're most impressionable at that point. But I think,
absolutely,
honestly, I think people are impressionable like up until they die. Well, up until you get to like 70.
Of course. if you can't think for yourself, you'll follow anything.
Exactly.
And a lot of people are ignorant, and they'll just believe anything. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. But when you're a kid, that's when you learn about Santa, the Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy, all the fun stuff that is just it's innocent. And you want to believe because the supernatural is amazing. This otherworldly thing. Yeah. And then when they start bringing negative stuff into it, like actual scary shit, that's how you mess people up. There's already enough evil people in the world. We don't need to corrupt youth. But tell that to the freaks.
Yeah. So what's the agenda? What's the agenda behind this, Clint? Do you know like?
Well, there's something that I want to speak on in regards to this.
Okay.
You got to think about, as Adam was speaking of earlier, we really didn't touch technology until much later on in our youth. As to oppose now, kids are being exposed to it almost in their later infancy lifespan. Well, really, as they're starting to move into becoming a child at 3, 4, and 5.
Absolutely, they're already
on a tablet.
Yeah.
They are on YouTube.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So
it's too much.
It's one of the most wicked things that they're being exposed to so early that they're going to have to go to their parents and be like, "Mom, what is this? Dad, what is this?" So my question is has YouTube, noticed this, and have they done anything to try to attempt to stop it?
Yeah, I didn't get that far when I read it. I mean, I know that YouTube obviously definitely would know about that if CNN was the one to report it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think YouTube knows. Yeah, I'm not sure what they've done quite yet. They don't even, last I saw, they don't know where it came from, as far as where it originated on YouTube.
which is crazy to me at 2019 to not know where something came from cyber-wise.
It is crazy to me as an IT professional that they would say some shit like that and expect people to believe it. That's what I think.
All right.
Some people will.
Okay. That was what I was gonna lead into, was that maybe, I don't want to be the guy to say it, but I might have to be.
Look, without getting too technical and telling you how that type of shit's set up, the fact that my phone can listen to my conversations and YouTube can recommend me a video about the very topic I was talking about,
or listening about.
Yet they can't exactly, or listening to. Yet they can't find the origin of a fucking video.
So I'm gonna have to be the guy to say that maybe
Be the guy.
Maybe YouTube is behind all of this. Which is
owned by Google.
Which is fucking sick, by the way.
I mean,
sick. That is sick. To do that, like, you know what I mean? Like, is it not?
I agree. It's disgusting.
Well, you mean YouTube in general, like the fat cats up top?
Yeah, somebody's got to do. Somebody's covered something up.
It was let through. Put it that way. Like I've said in a couple podcasts back, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 podcasts back, a certain group of YouTubers I listen. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, like I said, 4 or 5 podcasts back, there's in the black sector YouTube, there's people that I've kind of watched regularly. People are regularly getting banned, flagged. YouTube's taking their channels down. They're watching what they're saying on YouTube. They're like you see it. These people die. These people. I literally have live streams that get cut.
Yeah,
that's true. You talk about something that talk
so
about
it's
something like
instantly they're hearing.
Offensive
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And that really doesn't help the case of YouTube.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what I was saying. Like, it's 2019, dude. You know how fast the whole restricted shit works? I tried to record a part of Guardians of the Galaxy and put it on Instagram. As soon as I hit post, it said copyright issues, blah 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 blah. And it was like within like a 20-second, like
that stuff goes deep, man. Like,
a 20-second.
Disney and Marvel got their claws in social media.
Well, it's not just that. It's the fact that the system already knows what you're recording before you even hit post.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
So my point I'm trying to prove is that all this works. If that can work within 20 seconds, there's no way anybody should be able to post in the middle of a kid's video, let alone 12 of them, about killing your parents and committing suicide.
Is it all on the same channel or separate channels?
It's random. It's random.
Random channels. So
like
it's infiltrated random channels.
Yeah, random ass videos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's some kind of a police force of YouTube kind on the scene looking out for that shit. I mean, they definitely should be.
I mean, YouTube they have the people that scour everything and do most of the monitoring and deleting and all that. But again, that's why I think this is totally and completely on purpose. Like either dozens, if not hundreds of people really fucked up, or this was on purpose. I mean, that's the only 2 ways about it, in my opinion. I don't see why anybody with at least a half open mind could see that and knowing a little bit about technology. Like,
well, what's crazy about this, Jaron? I watched a lot of conspiracy type videos here recently too.
This is beyond conspiracy. This is provable fact.
Hold up. Nobody will make a video about this that's actually calling YouTube itself out, and that will get taken down. So you can't.
Yeah,
you have to come to a podcast or another form of media to talk about this kind of thing, because they can't really do anything then. But if you go to the site itself, that's not gonna.
I mean, they could if you posted it on YouTube and they didn't like it, but
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if you talk about this on the platform.
YouTube channel for us.
Say that again.
Which is kind of why I oppose of putting a YouTube channel up for us.
Yeah, it's made. There's no videos on it, which is for the stuff we talk about. We probably wouldn't be on there very long anyway if we got any sort of traction.
Yeah, I think we're better here, man. That was
right. And then there's one last thing, at least for me, that comes to mind about this. Right, as human beings, it's always up until we're too late that we actually do something about it. Well, what if, God forbid, a child were to carry out any of the requests made by this thing, right? Then it would get even more attention.
Yeah. And
So-
I think one of them tried or something.
Oh wow, really?
I
Say
think
that
the kid actually tried. What were you saying? Corn?
It reminds me a lot of the Slender Man story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Carried out and killed another little girl in a forest.
Yeah.
And blamed it on the Slender Man told it, like the actual physical Slender Man told him to do it. Some weird stuff, man.
Yeah, it is, man.
That stems from a video game too. It's like they're using all the forms of media together because they know what sells and connecting it into a video now. I mean,
well, Slender Man started as an actual like folk tale, like an actual tale. It turned into like a book and a video game and then a movie.
It's a very shitty movie. Yeah, but I understand what you're coming from. Yeah, because they're doing the same thing with this ugly ass Momo now. So it's like, yeah, they're just connecting the things that sell to reach the kids who are, playing it because it's a naughty thing, so and the kids are attracted to what they're not supposed to have. One thing leads to another, and there you go, you get psychos on there reaching kids.
I miss the old days when the only thing our parents had to worry about was us smoking weed and watching Going Wild. Now it's like a million things you have to worry about. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Well, it's a whole other level now.
Yeah, for worse or better.
Yep. I mean, at least the mind, the programming and the propaganda in the 90s and early 2000s was more sexual for children. Like, this is on some whole nother level. Like, not to say that that's any better, but at least it involves not killing yourself, basically.
or others, yeah.
Yeah, slit your leg and you won't tell your dad. Slit your wrist and your parents will never know about me. Like, what?
Fuck. I'm glad.
That's literally what the shit says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna lead to like parents are gonna start some parents are gonna start just like keeping their kids like trapped in a basement and not letting them out just because they're so scared of shit they're gonna hear outside of the house, do outside of the house. Like, it's a whole new monster now, man.
Yeah.
Well, going back earlier, like, what would you all think? When is it too soon to expose your kids to having a tablet, being able to have open internet access?
I say like teen years. I think they should cut that shit out. Go back to toys, like legit toys, like we had. Yeah.
But then the child could become marginalized because they're left out because they're not up to date with everyone else.
Yeah, that's the hard part about it.
15 is too high, man. Because I mean, when you're a kid, dude, you're gonna need a tablet at like 12.
Why would you?
Right. I mean, kids have. I mean, 6, 7-year-olds have phones too.
Sure.
Yeah.
A phone is one thing. A tablet is basically the same thing.
I mean, dude, all the phones that kids get now are smartphones anyway, which might as well be a tablet.
Might as well.
Smaller tablet. That's all it is.
Yes, man. I think there should be like a board, like an age where you first have like a flip phone, like a little shitty one like we had, and then you get a little older. Okay, well now we'll get you a smartphone. Like, who cares? I mean, yeah, they might not be popular at school, but fuck it. I mean, that shit's not gonna matter once you graduate anyway. Like, yeah, the kid will hate it for a little bit, and they might rue the day. Your parents will rue the day that you took my things away, or now I'm gonna get bullied, or blah blah blah. Who gives a fuck? Because popularity doesn't mean anything after you're done with school. Like, I mean,
until you see that bitch Abby walking down the hallway with a big ass phone that ain't a flip phone, and everybody's gonna want that shit.
Dude, I hate Abby. Who cares what she has? No, but what I'm saying is, exactly. We're still talking about popularity. I mean, yeah, kids are gonna care because we all care when we were kids. But I mean, no, I don't feel like there's enough parents talking about this kind of stuff, like talking about the temporary stuff that is gonna wear off, like popularity and trends, and
right.
Yeah,
like North Face jackets, like when we were in high school, stuff like that.
Well, the parents can't predict that stuff. I mean, I guess they can say,
it's
well,
tough,
cool.
yeah.
Like, and people still wear North Star jackets also. I mean, or North Face, whatever. North Star. I've been working too damn much.
I have too, bro. What I'm saying is, like, I'm not saying go like total carry on them, well, like to the point where this person's gonna get brutally bullied. I'm saying, like, just have a little bit of gradual growth, to the point where they're not super exposed right away. You know, like
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and see, we got to be careful talking about ideals as well, because,
It's true.
go back 60 years, you could count like on both hands sound families. Well, now you can look to your left and right, and there's a single mom everywhere.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily anybody's, fault, because it takes two, to make a child. But, ideally, it would be nice to be able to raise the kids to have an understanding of technology and be aware of the woes that are out there. So it just puts a even more crippling problem on our society and internationally too, because pretty much everyone's industrialized at this point.
Yeah.
So little things
First
like
world
this, we
countries.
talk about it because obviously it is a concern, but for it to be something so harsh as murder and suicide so early on, with a high chance that they may not be able to get a proper recourse as to what that is, probably really is a problem.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, I agree. And man, you bringing up the amount of single mothers.
Mhm.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Especially at our age too.
Yeah, they're everywhere, and it's
Oh,
sad.
It is sad, man. Honestly.
Because no matter how you want to look at it politically, it's all of us here and everyone else, through the state that helps them out financially through other forms of financial aid, WIC. I think those things are necessary, but as our society progresses, how much more of that, is that going to be on the taxpayer?
Mm-hmm.
A lot more, I'd say.
A lot
and,
more, yeah.
And even beyond that, just the lack of male energy within that household and within like the child's formative years, that is also detrimental.
Yeah, dude, you need that shit. Like both genders need that. You both need to be exposed to
absolutely.
the male and the female side. If you're not, you end up a little bit fucked up. I mean, I'm not saying everybody, and that's very broad to say that. I don't mean entirely fucked up. I mean, you're missing some key things,
some significant things.
Yeah, like you need to see how each gender is. You need to see how your parents are, how their personality affects you, and then you start to connect, different the different age groups, and you see, oh, okay, well, this girl that I like reminds me of my mom, because of these feminine qualities, and vice versa for your dad. So like it's good to have it.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Go on. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, and for example, for example, a single mom that has a daughter, and you can go to a male or a female, but just for this specific purpose, how will that young girl, as she grows up, understand what to look for in a man if she doesn't have a good representative of what a man is? Moreover, when men come into the life of this girl, is there going to be that strong masculine presence to greet that other man, to be like, hey, look, this is my daughter. I'm allowing you to take her out underneath my charge, but to set the stage that, this is a loved woman. Exactly. So, from the very start, it can become tough, for the single mom, because it's very rare that we have a single father, right?
Oh,
there are some, but it's not.
There are some.
Nowhere near as often.
Yeah, right. Not often at all, man. Like it is a very thin line. Not line. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But I've only seen a few single fathers on any form of media that I've exposed to. I mean, either that or they just don't advertise it.
So we really are, speaking in regards to, the societal norm that's coming to be, single moms, and
another it's another way to push out. Because I'm not saying it's all, the women's fault. The reason why
it takes two.
Leaving them, because it does take two. But I feel like in a way now there's even more of the reason for women to say, "Oh yeah, we're worth more than men," instead of fighting for equality, which is you say you're fighting for.
Well, they already have so much because the state is set up in their favor.
Dude, yeah.
If you go to divorce court, tell me what happens there.
The women win.
90+% of the time.
Oh yeah. Now, is that fair?
It doesn't matter what the actual case is. The women win.
Yeah. But no, it's not fair to answer your question.
Yeah. So,
of course not.
Yeah. I had a thought. I had a really good thought, but I lost it. This is why.
I got a good segue for that.
Yeah.
It kind of, you and I were briefly talking about it before Corn got on. It's not really serious anymore, but at the same time it is. A few episodes ago we mentioned, the whole Brie Larson controversy, and you talked about not wanting to see Captain Marvel because of the shit she said. Me and Corn heavily debated the same thing, but we did see it.
right.
And we both hated it. I mean, it just it pretty much did. It did what we thought it was going to do, and didn't even deliver any good Marvel stuff that we've come accustomed to. Like, no good fight scenes. Really, she was so bland, like just robotic acting, and pushing female power. In I'm not saying that's bad. I like that, but like there was this one scene that I don't think Corn, maybe he noticed it too, but it was a small fight. And like they start playing this song that's just like, I'm a girl in a girl's world, or just something like that. And I was like, this not only is this song not what's up?
No doubt. It was Gwen Stefani's band, No Doubt.
Okay, yeah, the song's fine. But I was like, this doesn't sound like an action or fight scene. It's just yeah, I'm woman, hear me roar. It's just I felt like that was just kind of forced in there. But yeah, she was saying all kinds of fucked up shit prior to this movie coming out, which really blew a lot of its sales. I mean, it still did great. It's Marvel. Marvel's going to make that money, but
yeah,
she earned a lot of haters for talking down her own race. It's pointless to be racist in this day and age, and super hypocritical to talk down your own race and to put the shit on top of cake on fucking national news, and now people are writing about it. Everyone knows about it. A lot of viewers weren't viewers. They're not viewers for this movie, including yourself. So,
And speaking of this, we're going to segue into this.
We lost him again. Okay.
So he's back.
Sorry about that. It's my connection.
No worries.
I'm in the bowels of the house, so the connection's weak.
No problem. What do you think about that? Unless Corn want to go off.
What did we leave off on?
I said, what do you think about it?
Well,
since you didn't go to see it because of the things that were said.
I'll put it to you like this: I was watching her. I can't remember the TV show, and she went off so wildly about how she doesn't need 40-year-old white men to talk about the success of her movie. But there's two major things that come up that get me about that. Well, for one, I'm against discrimination of any kind, including whites attacking whites, however you want to look at it.
Right. That's the most common one, it seems like,
right.
For the media.
Yeah. Any race obviously is coming to go see a movie, but a lot of men, 40-year-old men that happen to be white, will be taking their families to go see this movie.
They might be fans themselves, man. Like,
right.
They probably started off actually reading the comics. They was out when they were growing up.
Absolutely. So, unlike Brie Larson, who didn't give a shit about the comics, she's just an actress.
Right. And this, brings into conclusion, like, my ultimate point is, it's becoming too much of a trend for politics to be entering into things it shouldn't. Because
100%.
We go, I love the term picture show. We go to the movies, we go to see a picture show to escape society, right?
You're supposed to.
We go to enjoy ourselves.
There's agendas to push.
Yeah, so now.
Yeah, now there is. Yeah, we gotta push that shit on the young minds.
Right, we gotta try to influence, their perceptions. And it is, and it comes off as ruining the theme of the playwright of whatever they're trying to achieve to leave the audience with, and it becomes like a forced propaganda message down your throat.
Absolutely, bro. I got something for you. Imagine, Corn, you can relate to this because we both saw the movie, but Clint, you can't do this. You watched a lot of the older Marvel movies with me. Mm-hmm. Imagine this Captain Marvel is some kid's first exposure to Marvel, because it is. It's someone's. It's probably some little girl's first exposure to Marvel. Compare that scenario, right? Say what?
I was about to say that a little girl is probably a little girl because feminism.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, imagine that, okay? Compared to us, where our first exposure to the Marvel Cinematic Universe was Iron Man 1, which had tons of dark themes. Like, tons of like stuff that you probably wouldn't see in the Marvel now, because it's been very, you know, generalized and very like, you know, toned down on violence. Like, can you imagine like the difference in someone's first exposure being that, you know, like where they're pushing it, where they're pushing an agenda as opposed to, I mean, that's just me. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. The thing is, depending on the age, will depend the effect that it has on the child. I mean, it just, and also too, how that's reinforced in the family unit. You know, are they going to, are they going to, you know, propel that idea, that notion?
Exactly.
Are they going to have to take additional time out of their day now to mitigate this propaganda that was just fed to their daughter to understand healthy gender relations? You know, you know, it's crazy because you go back and forth, you know, and even biblically speaking, the Bible's so clear: men and women are both made in the image of God. They're both equal, you know, and they're both integral parts of society.
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, and in this movie, it's trying to show female dominance over the male.
yeah,
Which
it really does.
Which is no better than, you know, the opposite way, male dominance.
Exactly.
Which, it's not that it's male dominance, it's that the part that men naturally play is dominant.
Right.
It's not that, you know, women are being shat on because they're women, and because men are, you know, dominant, that means that they're automatically, you know, shitting on women because they're dominant. It means that they're playing their part in society and in life and in humanity, and women are playing their part in society and life and humanity. But now women don't want to play their part, and neither do men.
Yeah,
they just fucking hate each other. And now shit's getting to the point where men are starting to play women's parts and women are trying to play men's parts, and, you know, the shit's not working out.
Right.
And that's why we got more divorce, more single mothers, more, you know, bad children, more fucking, you know, easily working propaganda, because there's no family unit, there's no solidity. Hell, there's not even really that much, you know, for a child to see, hey, this is what a real man-woman dynamic should be like in a household.
Right.
This is how men and women should interact with each other.
Exactly.
There's barely any of that anymore.
And on top of that, what's even worse now, what makes it even worse is that these kids now are hating themselves because they don't even have time to even know themselves, to get to know themselves, to become who they are, you know.
Well, that's a great point. Yeah, there's a lot of people, especially young, that are searching for their identities, and they don't even have the slightest clue where to look. Yeah. You know, because we all, you know, grew up, we were all lucky enough to have a family. Now, there's a lot of stuff that went on in our families we definitely didn't like, but we had them.
Right, absolutely.
Sure. You know, and you compare that to kids that don't even have that. And see, what's sad about single parenting as a whole is that parent is going to be gone almost all the time, you know, becoming child neglect in a sense. You know, that's a harsh way to put it, but that's essentially what occurs.
Somebody else is ending up raising your kid, not you.
Right.
Regardless if it's just one person.
Right. And in my sociology class, there's many proven statistics through sociological research proving that when you leave your child with someone else for someone else to raise them, the children become more violent, become more aggressive, have identity issues.
Yeah.
So it really, you know, is something to really look at.
And you combine that with the fact that now you can have identity issues and it's okay, because we've got lots of identities for you now. Yeah. You combine it with that, and you know, that's exactly what the fuck we've been talking about. That's
all
two halves of a whole right there, two parts of what equals a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, now issues are welcome because there's so many different outlets to connect to. Now they're saying there's a million genders under the sun, et cetera, et cetera. You know, it's just because everything's okay. Like, you live in a world where if you say it's not okay, you're a racist bigot. You know, like facts are now opinions.
Yeah, I'll definitely caveat on that, because just last Friday in my environmental science class, with the one I told you guys in our own little group chat about how we're going to be discussing toxic masculinity and
Yeah.
feminism and all the issues. It was very weird to see how many people actually, and I don't want to say we all agreed with a couple of people in the class that said like there are definitely, gender is made up and there's definitely like more than 3 genders, because there are 3 genders, scientifically speaking. But they're trying to say they're obviously, the joke is, oh, there are more than 3 genders, whatever. And it's funny because I thought to myself, like, because we had to stand around in a circle, and then our professor's like, okay, you guys let's just talk about different stuff or whatever. And like 2 chicks, at the very end of our discussion, we have to, at the end of every class, we have to say something in front of the class, point out at least 1 or 2 people we pretty much say like thank you and that we appreciate whatever. And a lot of people said, oh, like we appreciate you talking about the many genders because people don't understand. And I'm thinking to myself like,
sigh.
Funny, like I had to think, I was like, it's funny how when we were kids, everything we joked about is now like a serious issue.
Yeah,
just 15 years, like everything is like the top, like the all these are like serious topics now. It's just nuts to me sometimes.
To go off of, I'll continue.
No, I was just saying, like, I respect what they're saying. Like, yeah, I don't really care, but it's just the fact that, again, when people trying to push that agenda on everyone, saying like there are more than 3 genders, it's like, not really.
But you're pushing your opinion and claiming it's right.
You're pushing, you're like pushing your agenda. Like, I'm not coming at your throat saying like Jesus died for all of our sins. You better believe everything I say. Right. It's just like it's what I believe, and you believe what everyone believes. We keep it cool, whatever. It's it's not oh, if there are 65 genders, and if you disagree, you're going to jail, or you're this.
Yeah, and they will attack the crap out of you for that too.
Or you had terrible parents or whatever, some shit like that. So.
Well, anyway, I'll go on.
I was gonna say there's a difference between open-mindedness and declaring yourself correct. If you push this and push that, you say this is how it is. I mean, if somebody disagrees, I guess you're gonna attack them with words, because it certainly isn't gonna be with your fist, because I mean everyone's passive aggressive. But yeah.
There was I don't know if anyone saw this. There's this rapper. I think his name was not Daz, but some 3-letter rap. I'll have to look it up. But he essentially identified as a woman for one day just to beat the women's all-time deadlifting record.
Oh, and they do that for wrestling too. They do that for wrestling too.
No, but he did this on purpose, just to prove a point. And the point was to prove is that men and women are not equal when it comes to strength.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be a man, identify as a trans, go, MMA fight, race, foot race.
Yo, let's not forget that nigga is still unbeaten. That transgender one, and
are you surprised? It's a men fighting woman.
Of course, that individual is going to win that.
Yeah, I mean, he proved a point that like biologically there are differences between men and women, no matter what you think. No matter how you feel. Okay, what are you saying?
I can't wait to see the first woman to beat to knock that nigga's legs out. I cannot let that shit happen.
Well, so anyway, to go off of, another issue that arises from this, I'm going to tell y'all a pretty funny story that happened to me not too long ago, about a month ago, in my theater class. And obviously, in theater, where all the artful people are, you're definitely going to be getting, homosexuality of people that are in there, which I understand if people want to do that, different types of genders. Well, anyhow, there is this boy that, when I say boy, is actually a woman, biologically speaking, has all the equipment of a woman. So in my mind, a woman. Well, it would be one thing to, for this individual, I'm not going to say the name. I'll just give a blank name. I'll just say like Timmy or something. If Timmy would have came in front of the class appearing as a woman, but, claiming to be a boy or a male, address the whole class and tell us to use masculine pronouns, okay? Because what happened is it was during like a big grading period, and we had some tests, and Timmy was not there, and everybody was wondering where Timmy was at. Well, one of Timmy's friends that happens to be a woman said, guys, because everyone was using feminine pronouns, she said, guys, Timmy, and unbeknownst to us, we didn't even know really the name, Timmy is a boy. And then the professor chimes in kind of like a serious correcting manner, but like in a playful manner all the same. Guys, be sure to use proper pronouns when addressing people. Wow. Well, when you first meet somebody,
I'm not gonna have to.
Do you shake someone's hand and say, what pronoun do you prefer to be called?
What are you, chum?
Like, what do you prefer? Like, what are you today?
Yeah.
I mean, no one goes around in society greeting people, asking what their pronouns are.
Yeah.
Nor ever.
Yeah.
Greetings, fair gender.
I have a similar story real quick.
Yeah.
I used to work at a movie theater not too long ago, and we had someone that was a female turning into a male, which is the first time I've seen that one. I've always seen males turn into females, but I'm not gonna use her name either, or their name either. But I would never have to, like, once I caught on, I was like, oh, so I'm there because I said, yo, what's up, man? One day, and then turned out it wasn't like she was going through that transition part of it. So I don't know what you even call them during that part. They just told me, oh, she's transitioning, and I'm like, okay. But anyway, long story short, they actually changed their name. It was like I was making up some random name. Like, it was like Taylor to like Travis, and I was like, what the fuck? So it was the first time I ever seen that. But it's funny how they do look at you, like the way they look at you when you do accidentally say like, hey, what's up, man? Or how's it going, gorgeous, or something like that. I don't know, you know.
Yeah. Cat call him while you're at it.
Boy.
Well, that's not really cat calling. I'm just saying, like whatever you would call a woman when you greet her, like, to let her know she's a woman.
Yeah, or to a group of you ladies, or, you know.
Yeah, because now it's official.
Ma'am or Mrs., you know, whatever.
Now it's official to even call a woman sweetheart. I know y'all heard of that one.
No, I have not.
Oh no, you're creepy if you call a woman sweetheart nowadays, dude. Come on.
I mean, seriously offended when you call them sweetheart or sweetie.
Like I said, you're considered creepy.
Huh?
I said you're considered creepy.
Yeah.
Well, what's a good thing to say? For my records, what's a non-offensive term to give to a strange woman?
To a strange woman?
A strange woman.
Mrs. or ma'am, or, you know, just like something like that.
Greetings, female.
Well, what's the setting like? Is this like at a bar? Or is this in school?
Yeah.
In class?
It also depends on you know, set and setting for sure.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking here?
Are you asking
for argument's sake,
well, you just asked us, but
for argument's sake, let's say walking
Adam.
down the street.
I was kind of just being broad. I wasn't really asking for a real answer.
Yeah, fuck it. We're on the topic now. Shit, you know how I get when we talk about women. It's gonna be a while.
Of course.
Since we're on the topic, might as well just for the question. Why don't we just say walking down the street, like you're like we'll say walking down like a walking mall or something.
All right, and then what's the intent? Like,
are there stairs or escalators here? Is there an elevator?
No. And yes. No, I'm just kidding.
Is it raining outside?
I was just saying. So we see her, but what's the intent? Are we trying to be friendly, or are we trying to ask her out? Or are we trying to
fair
ask a question?
What if you're just
actually hold up? That's where it is. It's our intention. That's how you greet a woman. So if your intention is to get directions from a hot woman, you say, "Hey, excuse me, ma'am," or whatever. But if you're trying to like get her attention, you know, you don't want to call a girl you're about to ask for a number or give your number to ma'am.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about the setting, your intent. For us as, men, we can see a woman in one moment and know whether we want her or not. But, women are so leery. It could take them time. So, it's all about your game and approach. But
go ahead.
Before, I go off on too wild, of a tangent to make it more simple. Back to what you're saying. Yeah, but
Go on a wild tangent.
Huh?
Go on a wild tangent.
Yeah, okay. But
I have something to
give
add.
me something. Yeah, go on, Jaron. Go on. I'm ready.
Well, how you said that women are fickle. I'll give you that for sure.
Yeah, they're
but when it comes to I feel like picking a man that they're attracted to, I feel like biologically they have to know that off jump.
Oh, I don't doubt that. I'm just saying in general, it takes a woman a lot longer to fall in love than it would for a man, to where we can see a woman and be like, oh shoot, I really want her.
That's because men
I'm already envisioning her in my mind for next week.
Yeah, I think men are sexual over anything.
Women are more attracted to confidence and social status, etc., etc. But men just see a woman and then, oh yeah, I want her. That's how it works, And maybe the cases I've seen with not social media, dating apps, that's where it looks on both sides. But in person, it's a whole other ballgame when it comes to women. Like they'll see a man, but unless he's looking like Brad Pitt or something,
well, maybe.
But see, that's where you can also be wrong too, because women naturally don't go up to men and try and gauge them based off of looks alone.
They don't go up to men at all.
They respond to whatever the energy that the man's giving off,
right,
and the vibe they get from the man. That's what attracts them more so than looks. Honestly.
That's all right. So that's the thing I don't believe when y'all say that.
It's the truth.
Go on. Go
ahead.
Hot women.
Say that again.
I've met so many shy dudes with hot ass women. That's where I disagree with y'all.
Okay,
you know what they do? Are these shy dudes attractive? No homo.
What?
Are these shy dudes attractive? No homo.
Yeah, somewhat. So
like physically only.
Like sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Like that hippie hot guy is. Like that guy who looks kind of like hippie, but he's hot. Yeah, I've seen like half of like that. The other guys are they're like in like the math chess club. Like, and no offense to the math and chess club people, I'm just saying. Like, but they're super shy. Like they have no communication skills whatsoever, and they're not even that attractive. I've seen hot ass women with them dudes. That's why I don't believe that whenever y'all tell me that.
Well, hear me out on this.
Maybe. What are you trying to say again?
I'm trying to say that it's not about. It doesn't work for everybody. Where it's. I don't even think it works for most people with the whole confidence thing. There's plenty of. Yeah.
I didn't say shit about confidence. I just said your energy.
Like your energy.
What I added is that the energy, in my opinion, is exuded through predominantly strong confidence.
Strong confidence, yeah, okay.
I
can see that.
But just going back to you, Corn. I mean, I don't refute at all what you're saying, because what we're all saying here is that it's a collective whole that comes together of your ability, to get a woman or not, if you just don't have the ability to, which is so many things and a massive topic in and of itself. But just realize that whenever we look at people, we are only seeing them. We're only seeing a picture, if you will, just a small amount of time that we're observing. Then we're on to our activity and they're doing their thing. So we don't know how these men are with their women. We don't know how the women are with their men. We don't know their relationship. But all I was trying to make a case for is that there's something to be said about a man that, owns his masculine, has a purpose, breaking through barriers. He does not need a woman, but she would be a nice complement to his life. And women that see that, it's almost, how when you're focused on yourself doing your own thing, women come into your life. It's that. It's that.
But all the time.
But all the time, right. Because you realize that your happiness and your, value is not based upon another human being, let alone a woman.
Sure.
And you can't ever get caught up in the idea that there's a one end-all be-all woman. There's no such thing.
Oh, dude, yeah, the one-itis. Yeah, I've been guilty of having it. Like, I've read a book, Clint, you know the book I'm talking about, A Rational Male, great book. It talks about hypergamy and one-itis and all these things that guys fall into that fucks them up. And, you know, it talks about how to break out of those mindsets. You know, reading that helps me a lot. Yeah, I have to go back to it because it also talks about peak levels. Like, men actually
Rollo Tomassi, I think it is.
Yeah, Rollo Tomassi. Women peak in their 20s, where men actually peak in their 30s and even 40s in some points.
Oh yeah, so, yeah, I've heard that before as well.
Yeah. So, you know, men who are, you know, our age are still maturing technically and are still like reaching their maximum potential. So yeah. And it's hard for us to accept that sometimes because we naturally think that we should kind of be on par with women our age, but I mean, that's not how biology works. So saith he. So somebody gonna say something?
Yeah.
You ever notice like in the movies where the asshole doesn't get the girl, but in real life, you ever see like the asshole, you're like, man.
Yeah, don't ever go to movies for like relationship anything.
Hell no,
that's always wrong.
Nope.
No. Let me finish. I'm just talking about this. Is a random thought. You ever like even as kids, like even more as adults, when you see the asshole, you're like, man, like when you work with them, go to school with them, or just know them in general, you're like, man, that guy's a fucking asshole. But then they somehow got the girl, and you're like, damn, that shit's real. That shit, this ain't no movie. Like,
and what is it about, you know, then you got to ask the question, what is it about those supposed bad boys that, you know, makes the women go after them? You know, any thoughts?
I would say it's because they, like you said earlier, Clint, they're on their purpose. They're not worried about women. They're attracted to women, but they're not worried about women in the sense of they feel like they need them to be complete in life or to fulfill their dreams or to push forward what they're pushing forward. You know what I mean?
I agree.
It's like they just women are, and it's not downplaying women either. This is just really this is what women are attracted to is men who are about them.
Around their shit. Yeah, about themselves and aren't chasing them. Yeah.
And they'll give the chick attention when it's convenient, but at the end of the day they'll go back to being them, and that's what makes them. And to me, that's what makes them seem like assholes. Is to a woman.
Right.
It is so I feel like when you hear chicks like assholes, it's chicks like guys who are about them, who are doing their own thing and doing
and they can be a part of it and add value to it. Do their own thing, maybe help. You know,
because a woman at the end of the day, if you're a valuable guy, a woman wants to be, everything to you.
She does.
A real woman.
She wants your money and resources.
Well, she wants your money and resources, and maybe at a deeper level, she wants.
But then she does want you to.
She wants to latch on to stability and something that is meaningful at the end of the day as well, depending on the mindset of the woman.
Yeah.
No.
But to me, a real woman would do that over.
You guys are right on this
money
the resources. Hold up.
Well, yeah, it is money and resources. Yeah, no doubt.
You guys are right on the basis of when a person is genuine and they're attracted to another person who is genuine with themselves. But yeah, you also bring up the whole financial stability part. Yeah, that comes into play too. I've seen that a lot. Yeah,
and it's so easy to get mad at.
It's so easy to get mad at that. It's also easy to get mad at high social status. I've seen that many times through watching others and through watching myself. You know, there was one case where I'm hitting it off really well with a woman, right, through a dating app or something, we're just basically speaking. Right. And we both have our Instagram stuff up. And I noticed hers has tons of pictures with her and other men. And lo and behold, after a great conversation, the next day I'm unmatched. I'm like, well, let me think. What could I have done wrong here? I read my messages. Nope, nothing needy there. Nothing really, makes myself feel weak. Then I realize our Instagrams are up. And I don't have any pictures with women in my Instagram. So, this guy must not be high social value, so he's got to go. And I'm just like, okay, that had to be it, because there was nothing here. Because I watch myself, mature, quote unquote. I'm far from mature. You guys know that. But as you grow up, you have to try to fix yourself, fix your faults. And when I saw this, I'm like, okay, that's all it could be. And because social status matters to women, men don't care. If a guy is attracted to the way a girl looks to him, and as long as she takes care of herself, he doesn't care if she doesn't have a friend in the world. He's still attracted. But women, nah. You got to have friends. You got to be attractive. to other women to build her attraction, because like that's just the way women think. I mean, at least in my experience, I'm not saying all of them, but I've seen that.
Again, and for the longest time, man, women have always gotten with men or looked for men for what they think masculinity, what being a masculine male really is, and that's what made where the men were like, oh, this is what they want, and that's where all gets eluded. That's where it all gets mixed up in this pot of what do women really want, what can a guy give a woman, and what all this other stuff. Because as some people have been brought up, me being one of them, kind of sort of like being brought up to like where, oh, if you do this, you're masculine, or you're a masculine male. If you that's not masculine, or that's not what being a man is, or whatever. So
excuse me, that's toxic masculinity.
Clint, hold on.
How dare you?
Can I
How
interrupt this?
dare
That around us?
But listen,
You hairy leg having animal.
But
you
that's
pubic
where,
hair and hairy chest. Be gone from me.
all right, y'all getting your whiteboard bag now. But like that's where I feel like it gets diluted. Is where like a woman sees what you've been brought up into, and they're like, oh, that's what a masculine male is supposed to be. And so now they get this mindset of, oh, that's how it's supposed to be. But that's not the definition of what a man is. Then now you have the other women over here saying, because now it's 2019, now the women are saying, oh, fuck all the men, blah, 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 feminism, blah, 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 blah. How are you going to fucking reproduce now?
You're not.
Those who are lucky. Well, they'll reproduce with the women who aren't doing that. I mean,
And what if you cut what if you cut your package off? How are you gonna reproduce? You're not.
Sell your package.
Well, that doesn't make babies still.
I'm just kidding, man.
I mean, granted, they're making robots and clones now and stuff like that, but still, we're a long time away from actually matching the even number amount of people, or even catching up to the amount of people that die per day.
Yeah,
that's heavy.
That's crazy. Man.
What'd you have for me, Jaron?
Oh, I heard a good quote from a guy. Actually, I can't remember his name at the moment. This is what happens when you work 18-hour shifts and then do.
No, it's all good.
But he said that. Oh, it was a guy, Donovan Sharp. Somebody who commented on one of his videos said that in his eyes, toxic masculinity is when women try to be men. He said that was toxic masculinity.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was
that's
like,
right.
wow, that's pretty legit.
That's good. But, yeah, there is like this military meme going around, like, in the Marine Corps, and it's like a Marine saying, "Doc, what is toxic masculinity? Do I have it, and how do I treat it?" Right. Because, in the military, it's men truly in the raw form of being men.
This is true.
Belching, farting, fighting,
all those
and
awful
all
things.
The raw passions, right?
This is true.
And it's just interesting. And, it brings up a point, as much as I hate to say it, hate to call the kettle black, but, that's the nature, of any military arms. That's the type
of
you
assume that kettle's colored.
That go in and, you build this type of camaraderie, and you go out and you're ready for war and to fight, and you just become brutal and raw in the process and unrefined.
Yeah.
You're not a polished gentleman at a formal dinner, at a fancy place, that's not your occupation, so it's interesting because society, this is the problem when, in my opinion, whenever the state tries to interfere too much with individual liberties, is we get ideals that will not work because there's too many different variables for every circumstance. You got to allow people to be free and express how they are in their own niches,
Hell yeah.
Military is different. It's its own niche. It's going to do its own thing. If you work for the government, you got to be subject to that. If you're an entrepreneur, you're subject to that. It's different laws that we're, held accountable to by what we're in.
Yeah.
And anytime you try to make a moral of what's right and wrong, when you have all these different groups of people that's when you infringe upon people, make them mad.
And let's not forget, true right and wrong has already been defined. That's already natural. Yes. That's already existing. That's already been defined.
Yeah, morals. Good,
and there's no need to do anything else. Like
right. Now it's just like, if you've hurt my feelings, you're wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, like I said before, opinion is now fact, or vice versa, whichever.
And it's actually sad, because it's actually starting to hold validity now. Your feelings as facts.
Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah, bro. Here's something I noticed. You talk about, we've heard toxic masculinity. I have never once heard of a thing called toxic femininity.
Yeah, it exists.
Does it?
Yeah, I've heard the term. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not propagated.
We all know why that is.
Yeah, it exists. You can look it up.
Do we though?
No, it's true. You can look it up.
No, Jaron, tell me why we know why it's not talked about.
We live in a feminist era. Why would they talk about toxic femininity if they're trying to promote feminism?
We live in a
fair enough. Okay.
That's like, that doesn't go with the status quo. That doesn't go with what's being pushed in every facet of life at the moment. Why would they even
like that's the suicidal rate of transgenders teenagers?
Exactly.
What's the transgender agenda?
That's not talked about much as well either. Isn't it over 70% of transgender teenagers commit suicide?
Something like that. I know it was high, but I don't think it was
very high.
It was high, but I don't think it was that high though. It was super high though. It was like, you might be right though. It might be like 70. Yeah. I remember it was like too high for comfort. That's all I remember.
So is this one as they're going through the transition, or fully transitioned into the other sex?
I don't know. I saw 2 reports on it, because in one of my science classes we went over this stuff, but it was I had 2 different sources, and it just said, I know at least one of them said just transgender teenagers, like between like 13 and 19.
So I'm assumably,
yeah,
to the next sex that they claim to be. Well, see, that's not good.
All right, I've got statistics. I've got statistics.
Okay.
Hold on, folks. I got statistics.
Hold on, real quick.
This is from the American Academy of Pediatrics. They said that nearly half of the people who say they are transgender attempted suicide at a rate of near 50%.
That's not a credible source.
Yeah, Jared, was that
American Academy of Pediatrics?
I'm triggered. I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
Jared wrote that himself.
What do you mean I wrote it myself? I literally this is 10 seconds of a Google search during the podcast. Right?
Jared's lying, bro.
But this is the tactics they use. Like, there's no truth when you speak truth. But anyway, no, you're right. But anyway, go on, Cornelius. What were you saying?
I forgot what I was saying now. But yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. But I do want to take a quick pause, real quick. But I'll go back to when you called when you were the pot calling the kettle black. Speaking of black, there's our sponsor this week is Black Diamond toothpaste. It's pretty simple. You just go to a Black Diamond toothpaste on an Instagram page and type in the promo code Comrades and get your free shipping tryout of Black Diamond toothpaste. I've been using this for like 2 years now. It's it's made with actual charcoal and panda manure and stuff like that. So
thank you for finally telling me what that toothpaste is, because I haven't gotten my free dosage with the Comrades code. So I'll have to type that in.
Yo, I hope they're not watching this right now.
I'm sure they are.
They are.
Our single
there's
fan,
no
our one fan.
Y'all have just messed
our one fan is Black Diamond toothpaste. That's our one fan.
Guys, but you broke the fourth wall.
Yeah. But let me just say, that Black Diamond toothpaste, man, that manure adds the perfect polish to the at the end of when you're done brushing, you put water on the brush one more time, just get it one more last time. That's
so I hear. Yeah, I wouldn't know. Black Diamond hasn't sent me my bottle. Thank you, Black Diamond, for not being equal.
If you order within the next 24 hours, you get your own wooden toothpaste as well. This is an all
wooden toothpaste.
Wooden toothpaste. Toothbrush.
Straight on the brush. Put the wood on the toothpaste, scrape them up. Sounds great.
You gave it right.
I guess we'll get it right eventually, right?
Glitters in the bones. That's what I love.
Yeah. Yeah, so just make sure you go to Black Diamond Charcoal Teeth Whitening on Instagram and order your batch today.
Yeah, I have to get mine.
Hey.
Good stuff, apparently.
Anyway, where did we
Anywhere.
Was that all the topics we had?
That was pretty good. I mean, Clint, it was a joy having you on, bro. I mean, you definitely are quite the fourth wall to our three wall house.
Well, thank you.
Fun.
Yeah, it's quite fun. I really enjoyed it.
I feel like we should have Clint on more often. Like just to join in. Like not necessarily like as a guest.
Yeah, this was his guest appearance. Now you can just be our part-time extra comrade.
Yeah. Clint brings a really good dynamic to the podcast.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Like,
so
yeah, as 1/3 of the co-founder of this podcast, and I certainly am going to invite you that if you're ever free when we are doing a podcast, feel free to jump right in.
Awesome.
Of course, bro. Of course. Hey, you're a part of the Comrades, so you're not a guest.
Well, I hope in the pursuits of our endeavors here, we can help a lot of people.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to.
I agree. We're just trying to bring a rational point of view from a mid-20s male group. Like that's really all we're trying to do here. Like we just want to really encourage people to think for themselves.
Really.
And think of the other side of something, or look at something from up above, not from the left or the right, or one side or the other.
Right.
Or,
Yeah.
Wherever you want. Not saying left and right politically, but from basically from one side.
Right. Right.
Hey, I actually had another something I did want to mention is that I found today Stephen, the woman who took care of Stephen Hawking before he died, the nurse, she just got her nursing license revoked because she didn't take care of him in a professional and good way.
Wow.
Really?
Did this just now happen?
He's already been dead for months.
Yep.
Why now?
Wow.
That's crazy.
I don't know. I read the article earlier today on Twitter saying that she was treating him bad. She wasn't some days he would go without taking a bath or some shit like that. And now he's dead, and now they're looking at the nurse, and she just got her license revoked.
Yeah.
Wow.
How did he even die? Didn't he just not wake up or something?
Yeah, that'll do it.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to remember what type of disease was it that he had?
I have no idea.
I thought he was paralyzed.
Yeah, he was.
He had some type of special disease that led to his paralysis. I can't think of what it was. I think that's why he died an early death. And the fact that the nurse missed a bath.
Yeah, that single bath.
That single bath.
Single bath.
Well, Corn, I seem to forget about Stephen Hawking's passing all those times you send that meme of him floating in the space shuttle. Like, that's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
I mean, he lived to be 76. I mean,
that's a good life.
That's not no early death then.
That's not an early death at all.
That's a blessing to live that old. So yeah.
Yeah, he was old as fuck.
I wouldn't say fuck, but he was definitely old.
I mean, I could throw my tinfoil hat on and say that he didn't even really die. Or he might have physically died, but they captured his consciousness.
Hey, y'all want to throw that out there? Joke about that screenshot I sent of him flying with NASA.
Joke about that.
NASA is like the little brother to the FBI. So, yeah, he very well could still be alive.
I'd say NASA's the big brother to the FBI. But
boys, probably with Elvis Presley.
I'd say they're identical. Yeah, because Elvis is alive. He didn't die. So is Tupac. Tupac's still out there making rap.
Yeah, he had Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS.
Lou Gehrig's, okay.
Yeah, early onset, slow progressive form.
Ice Bucket Challenge joint, wasn't it?
I think so.
I remember doing it. I still remember. It's pretty fucked up that I remember doing it.
You did that stupid shit?
And not knowing the cause for it.
I was stupid. That was like what 4 or 5 years. That was like 5 years ago. I was.
I
so
know you
stupid.
did the ice bucket challenge for what?
Yeah, I did it with the douchebag friends I had in the army.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, in the army. I was thinking, I knew you didn't do it anywhere else. But yeah, fair enough, bro. Hey,
I remember calling out Jonathan Fridley. That's all I remember. I think that's the only person I remember calling out. On the ice bucket. But
good stuff.
yeah, damn,
All right,
that's just
Joe.
crazy. Man.
Yeah, true that. Yeah, guys. But good chats, good topics all around. And this has been Contemporary Comrades.
Any more subjects?
I'm good. I mean,
Y'all fresh out. Clint,
I don't have any. Huh?
You got anything to plug before we get out of here?
No, I think we went around quite well and got a lot of things accomplished and talked about a lot. I can't think of anything. I'm pretty satisfied.
Yeah, I'm solid.
All right, Jaron, I would ask about you, but I know you're trying to get some pussy, so.
Nah, I'm not getting pussy tonight. But that anyway.
Yeah, okay. Good stuff. All right, Joe.
Yeah, go ahead, Adam. I guess we wrap it up.
I
Yeah,
already
we could always talk about chicks some more, but that gets over quick. So
Yeah.
not old, but
Being that dead horse once.
yeah.
All right. Well, y'all have a good night.
Yeah, guys. Contemporary Comrades out. We'll get you guys next time.
Bye.